Hi, it's Rob here from Game Developer Studio. Quick video showing you how to use the Sword Creator Mega Kit with the GDS Editor application. Gone ahead and downloaded the folder, and inside the folder you can see the various files that come with the download. So if you don't want to use GDS editors to do this, you prefer to use Photoshop, you'll find that in the folder you've got SVG parts of each sword component, which we'll take a look at in a minute, as well as PNG parts of each sword component. So even if you don't want to make any swords, you just need swords for your project, there's a ton of pre-made swords ready for you to use in your project. So you don't even have to touch this if you want. But in the video we're going to look at GDS Editor and how to make new swords with the editor. So to use the editor, we'll need the GDS Editor folder, the files in this folder, and the GDS Editor app. So the GDS Editor app is available on the website, so you can get to it at Studio.com via this button, the GDS Editor, to launch the latest release. This video is 1.5, so there might be a new version available when you come to do this. So let's launch the app. Let's put this in full screen. So let's get started. Welcome to GDS Editor version 1.5. Get started. So let's click here. So let's load a scene file. So what we're going to do is we're going to load the files from the download into GDS Editor. So I'm going to load the scene file, and inside the Sword Creator folder, that's the GDS Editor folder. And to start, we're going to take a look at Sword Creator GDS. So let's load that. In this file, you'll see there are categories, there's blades, chaps, which is this part here, pommels, which is this part here, plates, which is this, and the grip. So with this folder, or with this file in GDS, we can simply turn on a layer to swap out blades or whichever part. So for example, if we want this red sword, from here we can select the grip, the guard, and we've got quite a few variations of guards. We can select a grip, you can see there's variations of grips, and we can select pommels, which it doesn't look like there's many variations, but if we look on the object properties of each component, and we can access the object properties of each component over here, you'll see that it's highlighted orange, which means that there are swappable component properties. So let's open this and have a look what we can do. So if we zoom on this pommel, which we've got selected, and we're now exploring the properties, you'll see that we can swap out our type. So let's have a quick look. So we can swap for shovel, flange, triangle, arc, you get the idea. The visible properties are here. Let's put the shovel on as it matches our guard, and if we select the guard, you'll see again that this component's got properties, so we can have round ends, half round ends, trifoil ends, shovel ends, rhombus ends. We can get rid of the reflection if we want, and you can't see here, but we can blend the edge into the next component. So edge blend just turns on the stroke and turns it off, so you get that nice hand drawn effect. Let's pop that back on there. So you can see we can swap out pieces, and we can swap out blades with the layers, and we can target specific properties of each component if they're available. So some components don't have selectable properties, like this guard for example, and in that case it won't show up over here in the properties tab. This will just remain blue. However, you'll still be able to adjust the outline weight of each component. So as well as properties, we can select and target color groups of components. So if we look at this gem here, let's open the colors. We can colorize the whole component, or we can specifically select individual pieces in that component to colorize. So we'll make that blue, we'll make the top plate pink and the point plate pink. So by doing this you can activate and deactivate different color areas. So the basic idea with the Sword Creator pack is selectable layers to easily make new swords. Again, once you've decided on a sword you like, this one isn't particularly attractive, you can select the whole thing, or you can simply press E to export a PNG of the swords. Let's save it over here. We'll save it here for the moment, and then we can have a look at our PNG. Let's upload a file, and our PNG is this, and now we have a PNG. Alternatively, you can create a copy directly in GDS Editor with the exporter tool. So if we just draw a box around what we want to export, and we'll export to the canvas, and there you go, we've got a copy which we can just dump over here while we continue creating more swords. Actually, this copy went to, it was toggleable, let's put it in the main. Okay, so as well as that, in the main folder we've got items that aren't toggleable. So in the main category, these items we can turn them on and add them to our pieces. So if we want blood splatters, we can turn them on here. So I think you've got the idea. You simply switch on a layer to turn off the other layers, and it will create a unique sword. So now let's take a look at the second folder included in the pack, which is all pieces on one. So let's go ahead and make a new scene. I'll just make a new scene here, and let's load a scene file, and let's open Sword Creator all parts on one. Let's open that, and there we go, GDS Editor's loading it into a new scene. So with this folder we can visualize all in one go all parts of the sword. So it's somewhat easier to create a sword, although you have to work a bit harder by dragging and dropping them yourself. So let's make our own sword. Let's quickly make an example. We'll have this. Let's make a bone sword. We'll have the bone pommel. Now let's have a gem. We'll have a gem. Let's have that skull, and let's pick a nice blade. So you'd think this bone blade would go well, but I think we're going to pick this blade here. So now I've got all my pieces. I'm going to select them like so. I'm just going to move them over here, and I'm going to quickly arrange the sword. A quick way to do this, I'm going to select all the pieces, and I'm just going to align them to their center. So I don't want to align them to the scene. I'm going to align them to the first selected, and I'm going to align them like so. And let's start sending ones to the back. Okay, this needs to come forward. So if you notice that something's on top of another asset or below, you can control the Z order with these buttons up here. So if you're used to working in game engines, this shouldn't be a problem. Let's grab that. Now this looks a little bit too small, so let's make this a bit bigger. And let's move this over. And let's make this a bit smaller. But now because we made it smaller, the stroke weight's been altered, so I'm just going to tweak that back up to thick, and then I'm going to move this, I'm going to put this at the back, and I'm going to make that smaller. And I think I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to make this a bit more visible, but it needs to be a little bit smaller to go with that blade, and I'm going to double it. Now I'm also going to use the art object properties to turn off this buckle and the holes, so let's get rid of all of that. There we go. Actually, I'm going to turn the buckle on this one, and I'm going to turn the buckle off on this one. Yeah, I think that's nicer. Maybe move that down a bit. And I'm still not happy with the stroke weight there. Okay, great. Let's have a look. And I'm going to put the little tip hole on that. And I think I'm going to use this little strap up here. And I'm going to use this little chip here. Let's turn that round. There we go. Maybe I'm going to duplicate that. Pop that there. I'm not actually happy with this there. I think I'm just going to try with this bone. I think that'll be more harmonized. Okay, there we go. So I've got my swords ready. Maybe pop that down there. Make it a bit smaller. A little bit of a metal plate. There we go. And maybe send that to the back. Right, so that's really a bony sword. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to isolate it and I'm going to send it to a new scene for now. So let's select the export options. I'll do that again slowly so you can see. Export options, send to new scene, and there we go. We've got our sword. So if you're happy with that, you can select them all and hit the E key to export it to PNG, or we can carry on working with it without all the mess on the scene. So if we want to, we can change the color of these wraps. Let's start with the grip. Let's select the color of that. Actually, let's change the color of the bones. So let's go into the skull and let's quickly change the color to a dark purple. And I don't want the eyes to be purple. I'm going to change those to yellow, the complement of purple. And I'm going to do the same for all the bones on the sword. Let's pick these horns. Now to make the horns dark, instead of sliding the slider, I'm just going to use the color dropper tool and I'm going to steal this dark purple here, and I'm going to do the same for these bones. So I'm going to select the component, open the color features and select the bones group. As you can see, they flash to let us know that that's what we're going to be adjusting. And I'm just going to select purple with the dropper tool. Again, well, this doesn't have groups because it's just one bone. So I'm do the same like so, and there we go. Maybe I'll make this just a touch darker. Okay, there we go. So I think I prefer these bones. Oh, I forgot these two bones here. I'm going to select both of these now, and I'm just going to use the dropper tool. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. I'm going to save that for later in case I want to come back in and edit it. So I'm going to save it as a GDS file. So let's save it as GDS. As you can see, it says GDS. So again, to save the whole scene, you can click on the save icon and that will save it as a GDS file, and it won't be a PNG. If you want to export it as a PNG, you can select everything and go to export component, export the area of selected components, and that will put the whole scene into one PNG, or the whole selection area into one PNG. So pretty much that's two ways of using the Mega Pack. My favorite way is the all-in-one, as it lets you visualize everything. But if you just want a quick, simple way, we can use the smart layers to just get an idea of what we're going to be looking at. Okay, so that was the Sword Creator Mega Pack. I hope you enjoy making swords. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.